guys here and welcome back to another video. So today I'm back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this home called a Willow Creek Suburban. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up in the gallery now. My origin ID is Real Thomas TV1. So this house came in at 258,402 simoleons. I know that that's a very specific figure, but it's because I'm looking at the gallery app, at like the actual lot thing, so I don't mess up the figures, which is something I do all the time. And it also has 5 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, so you know it is a pretty well-sized home, I think, in terms of bedrooms and bathroom sizes for a 40 by 30 lot, I think. And yeah, so like I said, it's up on the gallery. My origin ID is Real Thomas TV1. So yeah, that's another thing, like I was mentioning, the gallery app. I don't actually think you can download it anymore. I don't think you can, because I remember a little while ago they did this thing where they're saying that they're discontinuing a few like EA apps, and a few of them were The Sims 3, I believe, and also The Sims 4 gallery. I think there was another one as well, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, so that happened, and ever since then I've been like, okay, I never really paid attention to the gallery app, but now it's kind of just made me want to use it more and more and more. So I'm now using it all the time, well, most of the time in speed builds, because it's actually just a really nice way to be able to tell you a little bit about the figures of that build without messing it up, because that's sometimes what I do in terms of saying that this many bedrooms and bathrooms when there really isn't. So yeah, and I don't know if anybody's interested in me telling you how many bedrooms and bathrooms and what the price of the lot is, but you know, I think it's sometimes helpful if you're watching this and you're thinking, I might download this for my family, but might be, you know, the wrong price or anything. So if I just tell you then and there, it means that you can easily just, okay, I'm going to go ahead and download this now, if that makes sense. Anyway, so I did cut out a bit of the, well, I didn't cut out, I forgot to record, I should say, the actual, like, me of building the house itself, which is really, really irritating, I think, because sometimes that's like something that people really like to look at. So I'm really sorry about that if that's what you wanted to see, but all the rest of it to make up for it I didn't really cut out. That's why this video is a little bit longer than usual. So when we get onto the interior, at least, I don't really cut out any part of the build. There are like a few jump cuts, but that's just when I'm taking breaks. Because sometimes what happens is, if I'm recording for like quite some time, like say when I get to like the 40-minute mark, I'll like just stop the recording and go back and check the actual video, like what it looks like, because sometimes what happens is if I record for that long, it's this weird thing that happens with my recording software, it'll start to really lag up the video. So I'll just like to, every like 40 minutes or so, in terms of like when I'm building, I just like to stop, take a break, and also go back and watch it, just to make sure, because I don't want to have to like do that and then I look back when I go back to edit it and everything's just so laggy and jumpy and everything, which has happened in the past and it's so annoying. But luckily for this build, I didn't really get any lag at all. Now I don't know what that's going to turn out in the render, because sometimes that happens, it'll be fine and then it'll be like really laggy in the render, or the other way around where it's like laggy in the actual editing software, then when I render it, it's fine. I don't know why that happens sometimes, but this one actually seemed pretty nice in terms of like how it turned out and everything, so that's great. Because I'm really happy with this build actually. I don't know why, it's not really something I've done different, because I do these suburban homes all the time, but I'm probably, in terms of the colour scheme, I never really used red siding, so I suppose that's nice. And just a little bit of a change. So yeah, we're just working on this little shed, as you can see, which I never really do. I don't think I've done that before. No, I have actually done it before, in the Off the Grid challenge, which was Spring Sims' September build challenge, I think it was. I do a shed there, which I think was the first time I've ever done a shed, which is not really a big major thing, but I just never really do them. So I'm doing it today as well, because I just thought it was something nice, and it kind of just, it didn't really fit the build. It's not really something that would make a difference to it. It just looked something a little bit different to put in the back garden, because sometimes I feel in my back gardens and stuff, or yards, whatever you call them, landscape and things like that, always get a little bit repetitive after a while, especially since I'm like building so much, because I'm doing like 5 videos a week, and then most of those are builds, since like my main focus on my channel now is builds. So I think everybody agrees on that, and it's what everybody seems to enjoy the most, and it's what I enjoy the most as well to record. So but there's also a lot of pressure that goes along with that, because if anybody has a channel out there that you're watching and you're primarily a builder, you will know that sometimes it can get pretty stressful, because, you know, doing 5 videos a week, not all of them, like I said, are builds, but like the majority of them are, and trying to kind of come up with original ideas for every single video is really difficult, and also trying to do bigger builds as well. And you may notice sometimes I am doing lots more bigger builds, and you're probably wondering how on earth do I get like these big manors and stuff out like 2 times a week. But it's because I pre-record a lot. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, because I'm kind of, my schedule's all over the place, but I'm going to talk about that in a bit more detail later. But it's just, yeah, it's a little bit irritating. Anyway, so I feel like well, I've had this cold for quite some time now. Well, actually, it's kind of been like like a mild cold. There was a point where it got really bad, but it's kind of gone now. I had a sore throat and like a cough and everything, and most of that's gone. It's just my voice. Maybe you could tell my voice. It's a little bit like, I don't know, like, it's not very clear, I guess you could say, which is really, really irritating when I've been talking to people this week. It's like, I sound so odd. So yeah, so hopefully it isn't too bad in this voiceover. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird, but I sound weird anyway, so, you know, nothing wrong with that. Oh my god, and nothing different, I suppose. But yeah, so just going around with the landscape in here, nothing really too extravagant or anything too different from what we've done before. Also got a big pond here in the back garden. Just, you know, it's sometimes nice to do that and like kind of break it up from all that landscaping and plants, if that makes sense. Also got a few red plants in there to fit with the red siding. Like I said, isn't really something I do a whole lot of. I don't really know where this idea came about from, to be honest. I kind of just came up with it and thought I'd use a bit of red siding because I never really use that, like I said. And yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything kind of in real life that I should talk about that's kind of, because sometimes it's boring to talk about the whole build for the full like 30 minutes, because this is, well, it's not quite 30 minutes, but it is quite a long voiceover. Well, I'm trying to think of, well, today we had a test in business, and it's literally like this teacher that we have, she's really nice, but sometimes it's kind of just like, it's like just a mess, the lessons, I guess you could say. I hope she's not watching. I don't think she will. No, she definitely doesn't know my channel. So yeah, it's just sometimes the lessons a little bit like just, well, it's actually kind of nice lessons because it's just more free and kind of like not very strict or anything like that. So I'm not like saying the lessons are bad, it's actually kind of nice. So in this test we had today, but it wasn't really like a proper test. It wasn't like an end of term test or anything. It was kind of just a I guess just like a class test to like test us on how we've done so far from coming back from summer. So it was kind of, we're in silence and everything, but everybody kind of got their phones out at one point and like looking up answers, and she wasn't even bothered at all. Like people are getting the books out and stuff and looking up for answers. We're kind of like not an exam, like, you know, sitting individually and everything. We're kind of just sitting in tables of four like we normally do. I know some colleges are different in terms of like lecture halls and stuff, but we kind of just have normal classrooms because our college is part of a high school, so we're kind of like the high school and college is mixed. So it's kind of just tables for four, most classrooms I would say. Some of them in terms of like specific for like different subjects have to be different. I guess like in the science labs and stuff, you know, they have like the things around the outside where you go up and do experiments and stuff, but in normal classrooms it's kind of just tables for four, which is nice. And sometimes teachers will change the seating plan up and stuff. One thing with our college I've noticed, which is different from everybody else's, is that we have seating plans, which is really, really irritating. Because like you'll be sat, like they'll have these little name cards that like they make and they have your name on, and when you go in the classroom you have to like go and find your seat, and I feel like I'm back in like year 4 or something. But you know, it's just sometimes it's actually really nice having that, because if it's a class that you don't really know a whole lot of people in, then it's like a lifesaver. And I know like some people who I know, like I might be in a class where I know lots of people and they do the seating plan, which is really irritating because you want to sit with your friends, but then you'll see somebody and they'll like not know anybody, and I'm like, I totally understand that, because like when I'm in their position, I'm like, I just want the name cards out because then I don't have to worry about trying to find somebody to sit next to. So it's really nice actually sometimes. But yeah, sometimes a little bit irritating, but to be honest, it's not really a big deal. It's something we've done for like a long time, so it's not really like a big deal, like I said. And yeah, so what else? Oh, another thing I want to talk about is I'm starting my driving lessons. I'm really, really nervous, but I've got my first lesson on Monday. Today is Thursday, the 28th of September. My first lesson's the 2nd of October. I'm like really like nervous, but I'm also like really excited about it, because it's like, I don't know if you know, but I love cars and stuff, and if you ask Exib and Sims X, then she'll definitely tell you about that. That's actually how me and Jen kind of got talking through cars and stuff, like of course through The Sims, but we kind of just got talking one day on Twitter. I've followed her on Twitter for like a long time. I've been watching her videos and stuff, but we talked, you know, every now and again, like what a normal person would do with their following and stuff. But we never really talked properly, but we kind of got talking one day about cars and stuff, and then it kind of just picked up from there, and now we're like really good friends and everything, and we talk all the time about cars and stuff like that, which is, you know, really nice, because then it's like somebody who I've found who loves The Sims and also loves the car, that didn't sound right, I said the cars, like, because I just said The Sims. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about here. Somebody who has like a passion for cars and The Sims is really, really great, and Jen is that person, so I have a friend like that, which is great. So we always talk about cars and everything. And that's kind of just how we became really good friends. I feel like me and Jen have a really, like, I feel like everybody has that one relationship, like a friendship, where they can, like, just tell that person everything. I feel like we have like a very interesting trust level, I guess you could say. We tell each other lots and lots of things, I guess, like just very things that private things, I guess, not really like real life, well, some real life things, but also kind of just private things about YouTube and stuff. When I kind of got started in my YouTube kind of like career, I guess, because it's not really career, just, you know what I mean. She told me lots and lots of stuff about how YouTube works. Not, I knew how YouTube works, but kind of like just behind the scenes stuff, I guess you could say, about how AdSense and like how she does everything, which I'm not going to talk anymore because she'll probably kill me if she watches this voiceover. But, you know, she just really helped me a lot with that. And it was really nice just to have somebody where I can just, like, she's probably the one person in this community where I feel like we could both tell each other anything. And we do, and we'll have lots of secrets, which I'm going to stop talking because something's going to end up slipping out, but you know. Anyway, how did I get talking about that? Oh yeah, driving. So I've got my first driving lesson on Monday, which I'm really, really excited for, but also really nervous. I feel like in the US, in UK, driving is really different in terms of how you learn to drive. Okay, so it's now the next day. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you probably just heard the cut in the voiceover there. So basically, I was recording yesterday, the 28th. Like I said, I think I said that earlier in the voiceover. But then I had to go for dinner, and then I kind of got distracted for the rest of the night, and I couldn't like get a chance to record the rest of the voiceover. So I'm now back here today. It's currently the 29th of September. Currently a Friday, which I'm really, really excited for because it's now the weekend and I can finally relax. But I've actually got another test coming up, so I'm kind of like not really be able to relax that much. It's a psychology test. Anyway, so what was I saying again? Oh yeah, about driving. So like I was saying, I think that the way that you learn to drive in the US is a bit different to the UK. I feel like it's a little bit more relaxed in a way, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm going to try and explain myself now. So if you're from the US and you know how to drive, then please let me know in the comment section how it works and how you learned. But really, really interesting to know. So in the UK, I'll talk about what I think, how you do it in the US from what I've heard. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's where you go and you kind of just find, like, you get your permit and then you can just learn with a family friend or somebody, and then you can go ahead and just practice and practice until you're ready to take your test, and then you pass or fail and you can drive. I think that's how it works. But in the UK, it's a bit more like kind of like strict, I would say, a bit more kind of like structured, and it's kind of like a college course, I guess. Not as much work as a college course, but it's kind of just like going to school kind of for driving. It's really, really kind of more very serious, I guess you could say. So basically what we do is we have to like take two tests. One is a practical test where you sit with a driving instructor in the car and he kind of marks you down on different criteria and stuff, and then you also have to do your theory test. So in the UK we'll have this thing called the Highway Code, which is basically this book that you have to learn, and it basically shows you all the different rules on the road, all the different road signs and everything like that, and you have to learn it. And then you go to like a test centre or something for driving, and you take this test of 50 questions, and the amount, like the pass rate changes all the time, but at the minute it's 43 out of 50 to pass. But luckily all these questions are multiple choice, so it's not as difficult. So yeah, you got to do that. Once you pass your theory test, then you can go ahead and do your practical one. I'm going to be starting driving, and I haven't done my theory test yet, but you can still do that. You can kind of do a bit of your driving lessons before you do your theory test, if that makes sense, even though you need to do your theory test before you can do the practical test, if that makes sense. So you kind of learn your theory as you go, which I think is a good idea. So I'm kind of just doing a bit of both at the minute. So I haven't even had my first lesson, like I said, so I'm going to have to like talk with the driving instructor, see how it all works and everything. But yeah, so I'm hoping it's not going to take too long. I know my friend down the road, who also goes to my school, but she just she got a new car for her birthday, which was really lucky. Her birthday was actually just before mine, early February, and she basically got her car so she could practice in that, and then she only had to take, I think she said 6 lessons or something, which is like crazy. I don't know how we should be able to do it, but she did. So yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to take me that long. I've got currently 10 lessons booked in, but I'm hoping it's not going to take me much longer than that, because I just want to kind of get it over and done with and start driving. But I don't even have a car myself, so I don't know how I'm going to do that. And the really annoying thing is that we have 2 cars ourselves, like my parents have a car each, but the first, like one of the cars, which is slightly smaller, it's, if you know Nissan cars, then one of them is a Nissan Juke, which is slightly smaller, which I would really love to drive and just practice in, but I can't, because I can't get on the insurance thing for it, because it's a company car. Not really a company car, but my dad works at Nissan, so it's from that, it's like on a scheme, I guess you could say, for employees. But the other Nissan car is a Qashqai, and that is slightly bigger, and that's kind of the only one I could practice in, which I don't really want to, because it's like huge, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But I think that the reason that she only had to take 6 lessons because she had her own car to practice in, I kind of might be able to with that other car, the bigger one, but I don't really want to. So I don't know. Just gonna have to see how things plan out once I actually start. And yeah, so I also had this other story I really wanted to tell you all about today. So basically, the other night, well, actually, between like, I cut the voiceover from the 28th and the 29th, which is today. Yesterday, when I was going to plan on telling the story, there was only like a certain amount I was going to tell. But today, I found out it's developed a little bit more. So, you're probably wondering what on earth I'm talking about. So basically, the other night, when it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something, and we kind of heard this car alarm go off. And you know, alarms go off all the time. It's not really a big deal. Like, you know, just like faults and things like that. But it went off, and then, you know, I didn't really think anything of it. Well, I didn't hear it myself, but my parents did. But I didn't think anything of it. And then in the morning, I think it was my mum who was going out to the shops or something, and they saw the neighbours like talking to each other on the drive, and they kind of came over and told her that last night, this is my next door neighbour that's happened to, the car alarm went off, and actually somebody broken into their car and stolen their handbag out of the car, which is crazy. So that happened, and it was really, really scary, to be honest, because it's literally just right next door, and we never have any robberies or anything on our kind of like street or anything, and it's just really scary. Anyway, so basically that happened, and kind of got in contact with the police and everything, and they're doing that sort of stuff. And today, my mum was also talking to somebody else out somewhere, and they bumped into each other, and she was talking, and one of the other neighbours has CCTV on their camera, like on a camera on their house, and they were looking back at it, and they saw this person, I don't know who he was, like a man, I guess. He came into the street to, you know, do this thing to just try and steal it, but what he actually did was he went around the street and tried to get into everybody's cars. Well, not everybody, but a lot of them, including ours, which is so scary, because if you've seen well, you don't know what else it's like, but my bedroom window looks down right onto our driveway, so if I had looked out my window at that point, I would have seen somebody trying to get in my car at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is really, really scary to think about. So he did that, and he managed to get into next doors, which was so scary. So that's never happened in years, like a robbery attempt or anything like that has never ever happened in so many years. There has been another attempt like in the past, which I'm just not going to get into because it's probably not everybody wants to hear this sort of stuff, but you know, it's just pretty scary that's happened again, and you know, you just never think it's going to happen, but it actually does. I'm so thankful that didn't happen to us, but you know, there was that possibility. And of course other neighbours as well, where they try to get into their cars, so you know, just really, really scary. But luckily it seems like everything's over. But you know, last night as well, after this all happened and we found out like the bit before I told you about the CCTV, and then last night the car alarm went off again. It wasn't their car alarm, but another car alarm went off in the street, so all the neighbours were outside, like I don't know what time it was during the night, so everybody jumped out of bed and like ran to look, but luckily it was just a fault. But you know, you can never be sure really, so that was really, really scary. I'm kind of glad it's all over and done with now, but you know, yeah, so that's kind of like the exciting story for this voiceover, because I thought it'd be good to kind of tell you something a bit different than talking about the build for the full, you know, 20 odd minutes. But yeah, so another thing as well, when I came back earlier, like what I just mentioned before, where I said I'm starting the voiceover today, well, I was actually planning on there was nobody going to be home when I'm doing this voiceover, because when I started the voiceover earlier in the video, and the first, like yesterday when I did it, there was somebody home, which made me kind of like not really, I just don't really feel myself that much when I'm like other people are listening in, because you know, sound travels faster in the house and they can easily hear you from downstairs, so I feel like I don't talk as loud. But then when it's like somebody, like, well, today I was supposed, my mum was going to go out and pick up my sister from school, and I told her if she could get like a cup of coffee for us or something, so just to pass the time, so have a little bit extra time in the house to do the voiceover. And then my dad came in from work. As soon as she was leaving, I was like, why does this have to happen to me? So now my dad's in the house, but I don't think he can hear, he's downstairs. But yeah, so really irritating, because I thought I would have a chance to finish off this voiceover without anybody being home, and I feel like I can be totally myself and just kind of just not to be as quiet during this voiceover, but I feel like I am now because there's somebody here, which is a little bit irritating. But we're nearly at the end of the video now, so I don't really think that matters as much now. So we're working on this bedroom right here. Now this bedroom is really, really odd because it doesn't have any mirrors. Not mirrors, oh my god, why am I talking? It's because I'm placing a mirror down right there, because that's where I wanted to say mirror. Anyway, what I was supposed to say was windows. So as you can see, this room is literally just in the middle of the house. It's like got no windows or anything, which I haven't seen that ever before really, I don't think, in real life. I suppose that would happened in real life somewhere, but I just never have seen it myself. It's a little bit odd, I think, but it was just kind of like, this always happens. Floor plans are something I really, really struggle with in The Sims, so it always just turns out sometimes being really like a horrible floor plan in the house. So this happened where there was just kind of this big empty space, which always happens. There's always like rooms around the house, like around the outside, I guess you could say, but then there was just this random space in the middle, so I had no kind of like, you know, what do I do? Does I have a massive hallway or something? So it was a little bit irritating. So I kind of just put that room in there, which, I mean, it's a little bit odd, but in The Sims, it doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. Unless you get moodless for something. I don't know if you, I feel like you might do for having, like, less light or something. Do you get that? I think it might be. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this voiceover pretty much now, I think, because I haven't really got a lot left to say, and I'm going to just start repeating myself. But we're just working on the last 2 bedrooms here, which is a pink and a blue one for a boy and a girl. Of course, that doesn't have to be. It's just kind of the mindset that I had when I was building this room and kind of who I was building it for. But you know, you can easily change it up as much as you want to. Just leave it how it is to suit your family when you download this. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, it is up in the gallery now. My origin ID is Real Thomas TV1. If you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, in the comment section down below, let me know about what you thought of this build. If you have any kind of suggestions you want like to see next, and that'd be really helpful for me, so I can, you know, build some more things that you like. Also want to apologise for my voice in this voiceover, because I do have a cold. Like I think I mentioned that yesterday, well, early in the voiceover, but yesterday for me. So I think I mentioned that, but if I didn't, I had a cold, but it's starting to go now, but my voice is a little bit like croaking, like all, I don't know, just a little bit weird. I don't have a sore throat or anything. I just had a bit of a cough in and out. My voice is like, I feel like I just need to keep clearing my throat all the time, which is really irritating, and I sound really weird when I'm talking, but you know what, it's alright. Anyway, so I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure you leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to leave you here with like the rest of the video, like not even a minute left of it, and then the screenshots at the end. And make sure you leave a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!